Hello guys, I hope you are doing well. In this video, we are going to explore some questions on the laws of indices. So this is more like a revision session, if you like, on the laws of indices. It starts off basic, but it does get pretty advanced. So it's a good opportunity for you to review some of the basics and then apply some of those basics to some difficult questions. So let's get to it. So with question one, oh dear, what am I doing there? With question one, we have this question here, x cubed to the power of 2. And when you have this kind of situation, we are multiplying the indices. So that simply becomes x to the power of 6. In case you're wondering why do we do this, x to the power of 3 squared means x to the power of 3 times itself. And of course, here we just add the powers. Okay, next question. C to the power of 4 times c to the power of n equals c to the power of 8. Well, when we multiply, we are adding the powers. So we're saying this power here, 4, plus the other power here, n, is equal to 8, which means the n is equal to 4. So we've got that there. Next question, y to the power of 12 divided by y to the power of 4 is equal to m. So we have division, which means we are subtracting the powers. So 12 take away 4 is equal to m, which means 8 is equal to m, or indeed m is equal to 8. Let's move on to the next question. We have a to the power of n to the power of 4 equals a to the power of 3 to the power of 6, all divided by a to the 7. Some people are looking at this question already, they're thinking, what? They're like, nah. But it's not as bad as it may look. Let's just work through it step by step. Okay, so we have a to the power of n to the power of 4. So again, going back to what we looked at before, we are multiplying the powers. So that's a to the power of 4n. N times 4 is 4n. And then here, we have a to the power of 3 to the power of 6. So again, applying the same rule, we have 3 times 6, which is 18. So a to the power of 18 divided by a to the power of 7. Now we can simplify the right-hand side. So we have a to the power of 4n equals, and then we have 18 take away 7, okay? Because you're dividing. So 18 take away 7 is 11. So we have a to the power of 11. So we have a to the power of 4n equals a to the power of 11. So the powers must be the same because you've both got bases of a. So we have that 4n is equal to 11. Then dividing both sides by 4, we get that n equals 11 over 4. So this is good as an answer. Let's keep going, guys. We're in a flow. So same thing again, just applying our laws of indices. So y to the power of 7 times y to the power of 8 is y to the power of 15, just adding those powers. Y to the power of 4 times y to the power of n is y to the power of 4 plus n, and that is equal to y to the power of 5. And again, same thing, we are subtracting the powers. We've just got to be a little bit careful here because when you're subtracting things like this, it can go a little bit left. So we have y to the power of 15 minus, and we're minusing the entirety of 4 plus n. So best to just use brackets here. And that's going to be equal to y to the power of 5. Okay, just simplifying this bit, we have y to the power of 15 take away 4 is going to be 11. And then we've got minus n. So the minus applies to both the 4 and the n. So y to the power of 11 minus n, just to remind you, 11 comes from 15 take away 4. And then we've also got the minus n. So 11 take away n is equal to y to the power of 5. Which means that 11 take away n is equal to 5. Therefore, n is equal to 6. So we have n is equal to 6. Okay, moving on, we have y to the power of 4 times y to the power of n is equal to 1. Well, first of all, let's use our laws of indices. We have y to the power of 4 plus n, because we can add the powers, and that's equal to 1. But if that's equal to 1, that means that this power must be equal to 0, because anything to the power of 0 is going to be equal to 1. So in other words, if I wrote it like this, y to the power of 4 plus n is y to the power of 0, it basically means that the power must have been 0. which means the n is going to equal -4. So this uses the concept that anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Now, of course, there's one exception. 0 to the power of 0 is a bit of a funny one. But other than that, anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, moving on to the next question. We want to simplify a to the power of 8 divided by a to the power of 3 times a to the power of -9. Well, well, well. We have a to the power of 8 over, let's simplify the bottom. Well, 3 plus -9 gives you -6, so we have a to the power of -6. Then we apply the subtraction, giving us a to the power of 8 minus -6. Oh my gosh, be so careful. The number of people that I've seen trip because of this kind of question is unreal. So a to the power of 14 is there. So our simplification is a to the power of 14. Let us keep going, guys. We are in a good flow. Woo, this one looks interesting. So 2 to the power of 7 over 2 minus 2 to the power of a half, all squared. This is going to be one of those expansion questions. So we have 2 to the power of 7 over 2 minus 2 to the power of a half squared, which means that times itself. Okay, so let's go through this then. Let me write this in a different color. So we have 2 to the power of 7 over 2 multiplied by 2 to the power of 7 over 2, which is going to be equal to 2 to the power of, well, 7 over 2 plus 7 over 2 is 14 over 2, or just 7. Okay, that just comes from 7 over 2 plus 7 over 2 equals 14 over 2, which is equal to 7. So that's how we got the first term. Then we do 2 to the power of 7 over 2 multiplied by minus 2 to the power of a half. So we already know it's going to be minus. And then we're doing 7 over 2 plus a half, which is equal to 8 over 2, which is equal to 4. So we have 2 to the power of 4. Then we have minus 2 to the power of a half times 2 to the power of 7 over 2. So it's again minus, and it's again a half plus 7 over 2, which we worked out was equal to 4. So 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. And the last time I'm going to do it in red, we've got minus 2 to the power of a half times minus 2 to the power of a half, which is positive. So we have a half plus a half, which equals 2 halves, which is equal to 1. So that's plus 2 to the power of 1. Now we're just going to simplify everything. So, well, it's asking us to work out the values, so we can actually do that. 2 to the power of 7, well, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, and then a fourth time that's going to be 16, fifth time is going to be 32, a sixth time is 64, seventh time is 128. 2 to the power of 4, that's going to be 16. 2 to the power of 4 again is going to be 16, and 2 to the power of 1 is just going to be 2. Okay, and now we are going to work out what this is. So 128 plus 2 is 130. 130 take away 16 is 100 and... oh dear, 114. That took me way too long. And then take away another 16 is going to be 98. Okay, forgive my slow mental maths. I did not claim that I was an expert. And let's do one more question before we conclude this video. So we have 2x y squared to the power of 4. So that is, everything is going to be raised to the power of 4. So we've got 2 to the power of 4 multiplied by x to the power of 4 multiplied by y squared to the power of 4. Just to understand why we get this, I'm just going to explain it here. That basically means 2xy squared times 2xy squared times 2xy squared times 2xy squared. So notice that we've got 2, 2, 2, and 2. That's 4 times. Hence 2 to the power of 4. X, 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 X 4 times. So x to the power of 4. Y squared, Y squared, Y squared, Y squared. Hence y squared to the power of 4. Okay. Then 2 to the power of 4, well, that's 16. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Then we have x to the power of 4. It just stays as it is. And then y squared to the power of 4, well, 2 times 4 is 8, so it's y to the power of 8. So we have here 16, x to the power of 4, y to the power of 8. And then to conclude, we have this last question where we apply pretty much the same thing. So maybe you want to have a go at this one and let me know if you get the right answer. Okay, so I'm going to do it now. So we have, just to explain what is going on here, we have 3x cubed y to the 5 times 3x cubed y to the 5 times 3x cubed y to the 5. Okay, and then that's 3 times 3 times 3, so that's 3 cubed. X cubed times x cubed times x cubed, that's x cubed, x cubed to the power of 3. Just showing you guys what the ideal first step would be. The red bit is just showing you, sort of the long way. But hopefully, once you get used to this, you'd start to then write it like this from the get-go. Okay, 3 to the power of 3 is 27. X cubed to the power of 3, well, 3 times 3 is 9, so x to the power of 9. Y to the 5 to the power of 3, well, 5 times 3 is 15, so we have y to the power of 15. So our final answer is 27, x to the power of 9, y to the power of 15. And that concludes this video, guys. I will see you in part 2, where we will answer the rest of these kinds of questions. And, they get kind of difficult. So there we go. Take care, guys. If there are any other kinds of videos that you want to see, then let me know.